This is the iPhone Air after the hype. It's been a couple of months at this point after the release of the iPhone Air, and the buzz has died down a little bit. And from what I've seen, it seems to be even that it's starting to really slow down in terms of sales. It's not meeting the expectations. And I think I found the reason why. In my opinion, it's something that a lot of people disregarded or even said that they don't need it on a phone. But I feel like the reason is the lack of more cameras. And hear me out why that is the case. Because the iPhone Air as a smartphone is incredible. It feels really futuristic. It feels great in hand, and it just, when you hold it, it feels incredible, especially without the case. You're holding a screen with tiny bezels, and that is pretty much all you have in your hand. The feeling of it is super futuristic, and the way it works is also futuristic. I mean, just the idea that the whole iPhone is pretty much built into this part, while this is just the battery and the screen, that in itself is a super futuristic thing when you know about it. But I feel like the target audience for something like this would be the people that are looking for those futuristic features, that are using the Pro features, and the Pro features are lackluster on this phone. And by the way, really quickly, I wanted to thank Lantra for sending this out and letting me test out and see how I like it. Without them, this video would not be possible. If you're interested in Apple products, especially if you're in Europe, check out the link down below for Lantra. You see, I feel like the enthusiasts of technology would probably go for something like this. But those are the people that really like the camera capabilities of the Pro and Pro Max. So you're cutting out the main target audience from this. And I know plenty of people said that one camera on it is more than enough for them. They don't use the camera. But while I am a filmmaker, I make content, and I know that I'm gonna be using the cameras way more than an average user, I know from experience and from others that they use the cameras a lot during the day. And when you're on a walk and you see something really cool in the distance, like even just like a sunset, you might want to zoom in into the photo. But in the iPhone Air case, you only have one lens. And because of that, it feels like a Pro Lite phone at a Pro-like price. Because it's working great, but it's missing that little something on the back. You have to remember, we only have one lens on the back, and that is like the main from the Pro and Pro Max. Essentially, you only have the ×1 zoom. In theory, they do say that you have also the ×2, but this is a crop into the sensor. So this is like a digital zoom. It's not a physical extra lens and sensor. And while this is a good camera, it is really limited in its capabilities because you do not have a chance to choose which kind of focal length you would like to do. If there is something that is a little bit farther from you, you cannot zoom into it. If, for example, you're looking at a building and you cannot go any more back, you're out of luck because you don't have a wide-angle lens. And I know there are gonna be those small percentage of people that are really gonna be fine with just one lens, but there's plenty of people that would love this as a daily, even if the cameras would be slightly worse than the Pro Max, but it have had that capabilities. Second off, there is no Pro features. And I know that iPhones tend to be the phones that don't really have much in terms of Pro features compared to competition. They are great in what they do, but they do not have a dedicated Pro mode. You do not have control over shutter speed, ISO, and other settings straight from the main camera app. You have to look for that in different apps to get those kind of settings. But even worse is that on this iPhone, with the main camera sensor, the only one we have, you cannot shoot in RAW. You can only shoot in the default settings. So it could be the JPEG or HEIC, depending on how you set it up, but you only have that default setting without RAW capabilities, meaning you cannot really push those photos in post-production. And the same thing can be said about the videos. If you want to shoot in a log format, for example, you have no access to that. You can shoot in 4K 60 frames per second, but you cannot shoot in log, meaning that you are cutting out those features from something like the iPhone 17 Pro Max and Pro. And I know that the iPhone Pro and Pro Max don't have the Pro mode on them in the default camera app, but you still have the access to something like the RAW photos and log format if you want to push that in post-production. But this even cuts that out. And while it's really nice that we have a really good center stage camera on the front, this is the same one we have on the Pro and Pro Max this year, and overall I think all the iPhones have that camera, and it's a really good camera in my opinion for selfies, really nice usabilities both in vertical and horizontal, and you can even shoot videos in horizontal and vertical just holding it straight like this. So in my opinion, that is a really nice plus. But I feel like the biggest downside is the back. And I feel like this is the main reason people are not going for the Air. Because once the hype died down and the idea of something so slim and something so futuristic that feels really cool in hand, you start to use it on a daily basis and you start to miss a little bit of features. Even if you're someone that you don't use the RAW formats or the log, you're gonna miss that extra reach and the more wider angle. Also on the side, you have the touch button, which is really nice if you want to take photos. I feel it's still a little bit too high in my opinion for shooting like this, but it's super handy for quick access like this. So this is how I use it when I take it out of my pocket and I want to snap a photo. I click on this and I'm right away in the camera app. You do still have in the photos the photo styles, and that is good. You can edit them in post-production. If you set it up to be the high efficiency format, you can actually edit that photo style in post-production. So there is some kind of, customization or changing of that photo in post-production, but that is as far as it goes. And I still stand by the idea if they made this just slightly bigger to accommodate 2 more lenses on this side, it would still be super futuristic because you're still holding it under the camera plateau, but where you hold it, it would still feel super futuristic. In my opinion, this feels almost like a missed opportunity by Apple. And I feel like if the idea of the Air dies down, I feel like it is a super missed opportunity because it was, to be honest, if this had the 3 cameras, it would be probably the best seller this year. Just the idea of something so futuristic, but with all the power we can get, this would be, I think, the #1 this year. But I know why they did this. They did not want to make this take over the Pro and the Pro Max. But I think the problem here is they put it between the iPhone 17 and the 17 Pro and Pro Max, instead of putting it pretty much against the Pro and Pro Max. Maybe make the cameras not as good, but have the same price and the 3 lenses. Maybe have the last year's setup of the cameras on here. Just some kind of a compromise to make this a little bit more equal to the Pro Max, but for like daily average user who likes that futuristic style, and then the Pro Max for the content creators. That would be a much better option than what they did with this. And I feel like it could be the end of Air because of that feature. But if you have one and are using one or you're thinking about it, let me know in the comment section down below. Is it really the way I see it? Do you also think that the one single camera on the back is the reason it is not as good as it could be? Because overall, it's a cool device. It feels really nice, looks great, and works great for daily usage. With that being said, if you have any more questions about the iPhone Air, let me know in the comment section down below. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.